Alright, this should be another relatively short one. That's why I think, yeah, this one and the previous one were only worth 50 points. I'm not sure what did I make the other ones worth. Yeah, it looks like the first few were 100 points. And then these three that deal with text areas, besides the hidden messages one, these three are worth 50 points each because they're meant to be easier. And as you saw in the previous video, it didn't really take that long. So let's just finish this one as quick as we can. Just a little bit more practice using for loops. So it says step 1 is to copy the code, of course, as usual. Let's create a new file here. Paste that in, save this as an HTML file. Let's save it as reverse text.html. And if we run it, well, if I say Command O for open, that's what it looks like. We've got ourselves our text area, we've got the button to reverse the text once it's in there, and then we've also got the output place, the place where it's going to appear in reverse order. Alright, so back to step 2. Add the rows and columns attributes. We've done this already. Easy stuff. Paste it in here. And add the IDs for each of these things. Oops. And don't forget this one like I did last time. This goes right here. And then we need an onClick attribute for the button. So that will go right here. Okay. Then of course we need the script. See, this should feel like we've done it before because we just barely did in the previous assignment. Everything we've done so far is basically the exact same. We add the scripts right after we add the call to that function here. So inside of that function, we need to retrieve the text, store that in a variable called text, and then we want to create a variable that we're going to build piece by piece, and it's just going to be the reverse order of the characters in that text. So step 8 says after that command, set up the repeating process. And one thing you'll notice is this loop I've created for you goes backwards. Or maybe you didn't notice it, so it's a good thing I pointed it out. But it doesn't start with I equals 0 like the other one did. If we go back to word counter, that's what this for loop looked like. We start with I equals 0 and we count up. So I plus plus until it reaches the last character. So while I is less than the length. Well, that's how we do most of the for loops. Most of the time I just go from 0 upward to the upper limit, whatever that is. But in this case, I want to go backward. I want to start at the very last position of the text, the very last character, and count downward, so I minus minus, until we reach 0. And 0, of course, is the first position of the text. So the reason we're going backward is so that when we grab the current character and append it to this text variable that we're creating piece by piece, it'll create it in reverse order. So that's the very next line. Step 9 says to, as soon as we retrieve that character or access that character, append it to the text where we're building the reversed string. All right. Step 10 says after the loop is complete, we want it to display the result, which of course is just this line here, which accesses the div where it currently says reversed text will appear here. So it says we need to put that right after the loop. So the loop ends and then we put that line. And again, it's just wrapping because I didn't have enough space here, so that's what it looks like. And we can test it right now. It should work. So if I type, hi, this will be reversed, and then click reverse text, there it is, reversed. Hi, this will be reversed. If you're able to read it backwards, there it is. If you wanted to try reversing this, we could, of course, paste it in there, and then it'll reverse it back to the original state. So it works. Good. Oh, there was one last step. It just says there's a shortcut way to do this, of course. Again, I just wanted to show you how to use a for loop because this might not be the best use for a for loop, but there will definitely be times when you're creating an app, creating some software, and you realize I need to iterate over each item in this list or each item in this data set and do something special for it. So I'm trying to give you some practice with for loops. Of course, there are some shortcuts. Let's just use that. Just to demonstrate that this works as well, instead of using the for loop, I could just use that one line, which basically says split everything, every character, put it in a list, reverse that list, and then join it back to a text value. And then that stores it in that variable that we already had, and then that's going to display it on the actual page. So if I run it, should still work. This should still reverse. And it does. Good. All right, feel free to submit that. Turn in the HTML file.